So yeah, basically, I'm just going to play you through this here video, and just tell me what you think. You can do that.
Okay.
All right. So we begin.
Why do you assume only other races like fried chicken? I love fried chicken. It should be a white person stereotype because of me. Why do we make it so we only have pumpkin in the fall? I want pumpkin all the time.
Why can't most white people dance?
Seriously, like, is it genetic or something? Do we have, like, stiff hips or, like, 2 left feet?
I can dance.
So there you go. That's your first, like, 3 questions in a row. And brag.
Okay.
So why can't... The question for white people is why can't we have pumpkin all year round?
Because seasonal vegetable, you idiots.
See, that's what I love, is that, like, a lot of the explanations for, like, racism and social paradigms and stuff, a lot of it is down to agriculture. And I like how the first question in, they've just proven that they don't know what the hell they're talking about.
You know, I mean, the fact that they even had to turn around and say, you know, why can't we have pumpkin all year round?
Because as we all know, white people are harvest gods.
I have friends who have greenhouses and they couldn't even get pumpkins to grow all year round. Why the hell should a
some of my best friends are gardeners.
Yeah, anybody who has a garden who grows their own vegetables knows that you only get a wee section of the year to have your pumpkins, and you know Christmas is not one of them.
No, that's true.
I can dance. Why do you get so annoyed when other people don't speak English?
English is hard. We have silent Ks.
Why do we get so excited?
Why do you get so annoyed, Lindsay, when other people don't speak English? Why do you get so annoyed? You fucking racist. Yeah, why does your racist ass get so annoyed when people don't speak English?
Well, oh my god, I have such a ridiculous question. Why can't you? When other people don't speak English, how many different languages are there in the world? You know, and English is a language that's been made up of how many different languages?
Well, there's like 700. There's like 700 languages in the world, isn't there? But yeah, I think I get the impression from these videos that the offices of Buzzfeed are like really racist, and they just assume that everyone else is as well.
Either that or they're idiots.
Well,
I don't know which one I.
Possibly both. Probably both. I don't know. But yeah, that's not a question to ask. Not every white person does that. Hashtag not all white people.
To brag on Instagram that we went to this really cool, authentic cultural festival, even though we went with all of our white friends. Why do white people spray tan until they turn orange?
Can't you just be comfortable in your own body?
I'm just saying, it's not tan, it's orange.
Why do you always spray tan? Lindsay, why are you always so fucking orange?
Why am I always orange?
Can't you just be comfortable in your own body? Said not Jonah Hill.
That is it. Well, I don't know why other people actually spray tan. It's not actually something I do myself, but you know, that's actually a very good question. Why are you not comfortable in your own body, just generally? Because that's something we have been talking about recently.
Well, speaking as a horrible patriarchal man, I don't really care, but I don't really find it especially attractive when they have loads of spray tan and shit on. Because
it's not practical at all. I mean, you have to go once a week. It only lasts for a couple of days, and then you have to scrub it off in the bath. It always leaves a ring. If you have white bed sheets, they're just destroyed. I think one of the only times that I got a spray tan was for my wedding, and my wedding dress is ruined now because of the spray tan that came off like under my arms and around the edges of the dress where it was touching my skin.
So this is the Latte Lindsay PSA: spray tans, don't do it. Don't do
Don't
it.
do it. Don't do it. Just be pasty and white.
Exactly. White is the best. Wait, what?
Since you've seen 5 seasons of The Wire, you're a cultural expert. Why do you?
No, because I'm not a pretentious cunt who thinks that watching 5 seasons of The Wire makes you a cultural expert. What the hell? How stupid are these people?
I've even seen one episode of The Wire, so
It's pretty good.
anything.
It's pretty good. Americans finally learned how non-linear storytelling works, and now they can't get enough of it.
Alright, okay.
Anyway, see, more cultural appropriating Rashomon from the Japanese. Anyway.
Everything you see on TV when it comes to other races.
Why do we get upset when a TV show becomes...
I don't, because I'm a skeptic. Like, by my very nature, so I don't believe everything that I see on TV. Just like I don't believe every internet video that I watch.
Definitely not.
Even though diverse usually just means 2 to 3 people of color.
Why do you assume movies with white stars are automatically more relatable than movies with people of color?
Why do you automatically assume that?
Why do you automatically assume what?
That movies with white people are more relatable than movies with not white people. He just said, why do you assume that? It's like, I don't. Do you?
No.
No.
One of the most, probably the most relatable person on the face of this planet is Oprah. You know, she can relate to everybody and makes everybody feel good. You know, she's black. Or am I allowed to say that? Are we allowed to say that?
No, you're not. You're not allowed to acknowledge that. That's problematic, and it's erasure, and you're minimising her experience by pointing out that she's black. You're doing all this horrible, problematic, transgressive stuff.
Right. Well, if people are turning around saying, "Oh, Lindsay, that's a white chick," why is it not okay for me to turn around and say, "Oh, Oprah, that's a black chick"?
Because prejudice plus power. You're oppressing Oprah because you're white and she's black. That's how it works. That's how it works. You're oppressing her because you're white.
And exactly how am I oppressing her whenever I'm on the other side of the globe?
Because you're really good at it.
I can never And I would love to know how I'm oppressing Oprah that way.
Oh, you're so blinded by your privilege that you can't even see it.
White privilege in Northern Ireland.
They actually get into that, oddly enough, in this video. It's pretty funny.
People of color have had to relate to white characters for all of cinematic history.
Why is Viola Davis the first black woman to win an Emmy for Best Actress? Why aren't we complaining that the Oscars and other award shows are like all white? It's just like
they do complain every time there's an Oscar show. Admittedly, it's also a pretty valid complaint, but don't act like it doesn't happen, because it does.
The problem with the Oscars is that it's picked by a committee of really old white dudes.
It's true. It's very true.
It's not a peer-reviewed thing. That's why nobody wants to win an Oscar anymore. It used to be a big thing because these were supposed to be the people who were brilliant and could spot, the real talent and what was really standing out in cinema. And now it's just a bunch of old dudes who are older than my grandparents, sitting about trying to work out what's cool. And that's why we have things like, MTV Movie Awards.
This Tom Hanks is very popular these days.
Yeah. But these, things that are actually peer-reviewed, nobody gives a shit about the Oscars anymore.
Could you imagine if movies were peer-reviewed? Oh my god, that would be terrible.
Well, the awards are about the closest thing that you can get, or the Nickelodeon Kids Awards, because at least you can vote online.
Well, that's democratic. We appear to have digressed somewhat from the subject of the video. We need to start talking about how horrible we are for being white.
Okay.
White people congratulating other white people on being white. Everybody should be represented. Why don't we know the difference between a...
Yeah, because as we all know, the only reason that Daniel Day-Lewis won an Oscar for My Left Foot is because he's white. No other reason.
Oh.
Only reason Heath Ledger won an award for his performance in The Dark Knight is because he's a white guy. It's just how it works.
I'm sitting thinking,
Only reason. Only reason that Kate Winslet won an Academy Award for The Reader is because she's white. That's what they're saying. No.
people have completely dedicated themselves to the roles that the point that, well, Daniel Day-Lewis starves himself and like lives in huts whenever he's doing his research for his roles.
Yeah.
And Keith Ledger went completely insane.
Goes around starving himself for living in huts, or as we like to call it, culturally appropriating. Fucking showing up to the natives' doors and nicking their culture, because as we all know, once you style your hair like someone, they're not allowed to have that hairstyle anymore.
Oh.
That's how appropriation works.
Appropriation and appreciation. Why can't we figure out how to make our own pop culture, our own slang, our own cool clothes?
Yeah, white people don't make up their own pop culture.
Right? I don't even know how to respond to that.
A list.
But you know what?
Have you noticed that this guy is the guy that says all the really stupid shit? This dude with the glasses, I've noticed, he was the guy who said the pumpkin thing as well.
That is just beyond ridiculous. Do you know what? Bring them. These people need to come to Hackney or something. And hear some, hear all the whites not be, use all their slang and, with their apples and pears and.
with their apples and pears.
I don't know if they copyright that.
Chim chimney, chim chimney, chim chim chimney.
There's no such thing as white culture. Take them to
the fucking Louvre.
I think I'm just broken here, haven't I, with my stupidity?
It's the apples and pears thing. It really got to me. It got me right deep inside. Like a priest raping me, who happens to be white. But happens to be white. It's not a white thing, I think. I hope not. That'd be an awful cultural stereotype to have. Oh, you see those white people? Yeah, they fuck kids. Oh yeah. But but this guy, I've noticed he's the guy that's like saying the really out there shit. I bet he loves those Pixar movies though. I bet he loves fucking Star Wars and Marvel. All those things that white people didn't invent. I bet he loves Batman. But that doesn't count as popular culture, evidently.
Have you noticed he actually has a T-shirt that says "white" on it?
Yeah.
White dog.
Mhm. He looks like Napoleon Dynamite found a pair of hair straighteners. You need to check your privilege.
Is he trying to make a statement with a T-shirt? White dog, that he is the white dog with his whiteness.
Well, he's a white bitch. I don't know whether dog is really the term I would use. Anyway, let us proceed.
Of stealing other people's cool clothes and then saying that they are our cool clothes.
So he goes around nicking other people's clothes and he's projecting that onto every other white person. Is that a white thing? Do you go around nicking other people's clothes? I don't go around nicking other people's clothes. I like to be naked. Anyway.
Why are white people obsessed with Wes Anderson? Why would you ever say thug life? It's a bad life. What do you have?
How do you know, racist?
True. If he's full of white, then how would he know?
He's just cast an aspersion on an entire way of living for a culture. Just what the hell? What the hell, dude? What is this dude? What's Jonah Hill doing in this video?
I don't know.
Let's see what he had to say.
It's a bad life. What do you have against seasoning and spiciness?
I love it. Don't you? I love seasoning and spiciness.
Yeah.
That's an American thing, because I've noticed that Americans are real pussies when it comes to spicy food. So,
Really?
and I didn't know that all Americans, like all white people, were American. I didn't know that we had a shared cultural experience like that.
I know, but all Americans are Irish, don't you know?
Oh yeah. Doesn't that mean that all Americans have been oppressed because they're all descended from Irish people?
Yeah.
So that means that all of this is bullshit.
Yeah, it's American around you. I find this quite a lot when we get quite a lot of American tourists now, and they'll be coming up to you. Oh yeah, I love Ireland, and my family's from here. It's like, all right, okay, and they're talking from like 400 years ago when it was like really bad oppression, or even 100 years ago when it was still really bad. And they're like, oh yeah, my family, moved to America to start a new life, because Ireland was so shit back then. It's like, okay, so you're standing and telling me all about your family history, how you think your family left here because they thought the country was so shit. But now you're coming back for a visit because now we're awesome. All right then.
Get fucked. Get fucked.
Yep. And just sort of rub your white privilege of getting the escape out, in my face. Why don't you?
Get fucked, Jonah Hill. I can hear me on your end. There is an echo. There is an echo. It's gone. It's gone. It's okay. We're safe. We can proceed.
Christopher Columbus discover America looking for spices? They're casseroles, aren't they? Why do you?
No, that wasn't the only reason he was going to India. That's kind of a really racist thing to say about Indian people.
Yeah.
You are so racist.
Try to avoid confrontation at all costs.
Why is
I don't. I'll fuck you up for saying that as well, you fat cunt.
it crazy that I'm white and I have a big butt?
Why do you make such a big deal when somebody doesn't want to hike? Why do you keep talking about reverse racism? That is not a thing.
No, it's not. It's just called racism. Do you feel that, Lindsay, that reverse racism is not a thing?
Definitely not. But what?
Right, that was like a triple negative.
What if these people even say reverse racism? You're either racist or you're not.
Well, reverse racism means racism against white people.
So what? Just right. Reverse racism is racism against white people.
Yes, that's what reverse racism is.
So just general racism is against everybody else who isn't white.
Yeah, no, they explain it in the video. I think that because we've spent 18 minutes on the first 2 minutes of this video, we'll just rush through. We'll let them make their case, and then I want to hear your response as a working class Northern Irish mum to what these privileged San Franciscans have to tell you about being white and being oppressed.
Okay.
We are the people in power.
Racism is about oppression. Sorry, white people have not been oppressed.
Why are you too afraid to speak up when someone says something racist? Why do we think that having one friend of color means that nothing we say or do could possibly ever be racist?
Why does being half white automatically make my commentary on white culture only half true? I am just as much white as I am Mexican.
Why do you believe that Black Lives Matter means that your life doesn't matter?
Every life matters. It's just that one has a harder time living.
Why do you get offended when you see a table full of black people, but not when you see a lunchroom full of white people?
Why do you?
I don't. Do you?
What, get offended when I
Get
say...
offended. Why do you get offended? See, I don't get offended when I see a table full of black people. The only thing that I can surmise is that that's something that they do.
Right. But Judah, that's one of the things I really can't comment on, because Northern Ireland is not exactly the, multicultural, diverse place that,
Well, you are a bunch of oppressors. You are a bunch of oppressors.
No, we have been oppressed.
No, you haven't. You're white. You have not been oppressed.
But we're Irish.
But you're white.
We're Irish.
But you're white.
The only way you could actually be a white person that is an oppressor is to be English and white.
Or French and white. Or German and white. But even then, it's only if you're like rich and you're like, you bought into the East India Trading Company, because the vast majority of British people weren't slave owners, or vast majority of British people were actually really vehemently opposed to slavery. So, but they don't know that because their perception of American history is, their perception of world history is entirely viewed through the lens of being American. Like, you know, the word slave comes from Slav. And the last time, because Slavic people were constantly enslaved throughout history, and the last time I checked, Slavic people were pretty fucking white.
Yeah.
Anyway, you know it's bullshit. I know it's bullshit. Let's proceed with the bullshit.
Always ask to have a white people club. You already do. It's the student union. It's primarily white. They have a black student union because you don't represent them well.
Why do you see the success of people of color as a threat to you?
You know that a 2-minute video about whiteness isn't reverse racism, right? 2 minutes about whiteness, hundreds of years of systemic oppression. Yeah, I think we can deal with this. Why are we upset about immigrants when we were the first immigrants? And we were white people running away from other white people. That kind of shows you how bad white people can be.
Okay.
I want you to respond to that.
Right, okay. He actually just said pretty much what I was saying there. You know, people were the oppression. A good lot of Americans like to say that they're Irish, and Ireland is probably I would say, in the top 10 of oppressed countries, even in recent history.
You know, do you know that the official position in American academia now is that the Irish slave trade never happened.
Right.
That's what they teach young people in college now.
What?
In America, yeah. I will find the articles, the relevant sources, and yeah. You feel free to rant on that for a moment while I find it.
Oh my god, that is ridiculous.
Right,
Ireland has been one of the most oppressed countries. I would say in the top 10, ain't it?
Certainly,
certainly
in Europe.
The top 5.
In Europe. Sorry, Lindsay. I was just saying, in Europe, definitely. I definitely agree. In Europe, absolutely.
Yeah. And even today, even though I'm in the north of Ireland, Northern Ireland, and we're under British Crown, you know, I'm British, you know, and even though we're supposed to have all those lovely perks that the English people have, we don't get most of them.
It's true.
And we sort of get left to the wayside, even though we are like the hardest working group of people you will ever meet, because that is why there's an entire film industry being brought over here now. You know, Game of Thrones is filmed over here. Our towns are regularly shut down for films. Brad Pitt was in the area a couple of weeks ago. Who else? Oh god, there was loads during the summer. Absolutely, like, our film industry is absolutely booming now, and
have a look at that on the screen share.
Yeah.
See that?
The convenient myth.
The convenient myth.
Oh my god. So basically, it just didn't happen.
It was with a heavy heart and no small amount of anger that I decided it was necessary to write a public refutation of the insidious myth that the Irish were once chattel slaves in the British colonies. The subject of this myth is not an issue in academic circles, for there is unanimous agreement, based on overwhelming evidence, that the Irish were never subjected to perpetual hereditary slavery in the colonies based on notions of race. Unfortunately, this is not the case in the public domain, and the Irish slaves myth has been shared so frequently online that it has gone viral.
Oh my god.
And yeah, this essay uses a bunch of tweets, an interview on InfoWars with David Icke, and a book called If the Irish Ran the World as its sources. So that is the world that we currently live in, Lindsay.
Okay.
You people can't see Lindsay's face right now, but her jaw is wide open and she looks
I
quite.
actually do not believe that.
Okay, Lindsay has the floor for the last 5 minutes.
I'm offended. I don't get offended very often, but it is well known that the Irish people have been so badly oppressed for centuries, so long. I mean, the English came over and like took their land off them and imposed rules that meant farmers couldn't grow any crops because it was divided up between all of their sons, and they ended up with a wee piddly patch to try and grow crops to feed their family on. That's why we ended up eating so many bloody potatoes.
Yeah, but you're white, so you've never been oppressed.
Who is actually saying this? Who is actually turning around saying you're white, so you've never been oppressed? Because I want to punch them.
It's the prevailing opinion of academia in the Western world. So, like every university, basically, that teaches a social studies or a gender studies degree, a lot of young people believe it. Pretty much most of the modern left wing seems to be on one side or the other of that argument, and the general gist of it is basically that to be racist, you have to have power and prejudice. So you have to have systematic power over a group to be racist against them. Otherwise, it's just prejudice.
Okay.
And I believe that the best term that I can sum up for my opinions on that way of judging people is that it's pants on head retarded. Basically, and it doesn't make any sense. It's one of those things where I think that with a lot of this modern like social justice politics and stuff, it seems like it makes sense at face value.
Yeah.
But then when you actually start to think about it a little bit, like, so for example, like the whole idea that we've got a patriarchy, right?
Yes.
And that it keeps women down. Well, I mean, the most powerful person in Europe is a woman, and men overwhelmingly go to prison more. So if there is a patriarchy set up by men, we've done a really shit job of it.
Mm-hmm.
And there's just so many of these ideas that once you actually like apply a little bit of basic scrutiny to them, they sort of unravel really fast. Like I was talking with someone the other day about the whole idea of the trendy term for anyone who isn't white now is people of color, right?
Yeah.
What is the difference between calling someone a person of color and calling them a colored person?
I don't know.
Because
I don't see any difference in that.
I mean, there's a difference in the reaction, but in the execution, there's no difference. And I actually made a point to someone that when you call someone a person of color, what you're implying is that white is the default state. So these people who have these ideas about race, I mean, obviously, you know, there's racism against white people, but they're racist against everyone else as well because it's so patronising. Like this idea that other groups of people need special treatment to advance in life.
Yeah.
It's bullshit. Everyone should be equal. That's not equality.
Yeah, I can understand, you know, maybe 20 years ago, whenever people were turning around and saying, you know, oh yeah, two people have applied for a job, one person's white, one person's black, the white person isn't as qualified, the black person is more qualified, but they don't hire the black person because they're black. That's racism to me.
That
You
is
know, so
racism.
turn around, and that's basic racism. You know, that's the simplest way I can think to explain it because I don't see a point in trying to make it any more complicated than what it is. It is discriminating against somebody on the color of their skin, or where they're from, or even ageism, turning around and, you know, hiring somebody who's older or younger. You know, that it's those reasons. If that is the defining reason for giving somebody a job over another person, then yes, that's racism or discrimination or whatever you want to call it. But turn around and saying, "Oh, you're white, so automatically you're a racist," and you know, reverse racism and all. I mean, that's just bullshit. That's just something for a group of whiny, you know, a group of whiny children to turn around and have something to bitch about. It makes no sense. It makes no logical sense on why somebody would turn around and say, this is racism because you're white. It's not.
Yeah, but Lindsay, you're white, so you know everything you just said is invalid.
Really?
Yeah, that's how it works.
Really?
Haven't you learned anything from the amazing educational Buzzfeed video from the guy in the glasses and not Jonah Hill?
Oh my. Best thing I've ever heard. So because I've actually turned around and given valid, a very simple explanation.
Yeah, no, they refer that. This is honestly true. This is honestly true. Sorry, I'm just going to mansplain quickly. This is honestly true, right? They refer to what you just did as white-splaining.
Really?
Yeah.
Basic logic is now
like explaining away white privilege is referred to as white-splaining.
Oh, that is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard.
Because it seems like your tally for the most ridiculous thing in the world seems to be going up every like 10 minutes so far. It's been a pretty ridiculous morning.
This has been completely ridiculous. And the reason the word of the day is ridiculous is because of something my son said last night.
What did your son say last night?
Well, should we go into the story of like things that like Jack likes to say?
Yeah, we can do.
Okay, right. Well, last night the reason the word of the day is ridiculous is because I'm trying to teach Jack to say it properly. And last night he turned around to me and went, "Mommy, you're dickless." Like, that's very accurate, but no, we don't say things like that. And you don't say the word dick. And he went, "No, you're ridiculous." What? You're ridiculous. And he just kept saying this over and over and over again. And it took me forever to twig on that he was trying to say, "Mommy, you are ridiculous." And so that's the word of the day is ridiculous and not ridiculous.
Well, my word of the day is white-splaining.
White-splaining.
White-splaining is my word of the day. Okay.